Coming up on the April 18th edition of Carolina Week.
Each spring, Apple Chill draws families for fun on Franklin Street. But when the sun goes down, the aftermath can be a bit chilling for Chapel Hill residents.
And living in dorms might be convenient, but for many students, registering for housing this year was a big inconvenience.
Last year, the Tar Heel baseball team swept the mighty Miami Hurricanes right out of Florida. Will the Canes return the favor and get their revenge in Chapel Hill this weekend?
Plus your 4-day forecast.
These stories and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and welcome to the April 18th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Nora Warren. Each year, residents of Chapel Hill welcome the arrival of warm weather at the Apple Chill Festival.
But afterward, things sometimes get a little bit rowdy.
This year, the Durham Sheriff issued a warning about possible gang activity. But as reporter Elizabeth Crumpler shows us, although gang activity didn't materialize, some students and Chapel Hill residents say they're still uncomfortable with what does happen. Elizabeth?
That's right, Nora. They call it After Chill. People come from all over to attend this unofficial nighttime gathering. Many students and Chapel Hill residents think it's just a big nuisance, or worse. By day, students and families flock to Franklin Street to enjoy the arts, crafts, and music of Apple Chill. But when the sun goes down, the street fair becomes a different place. 80 police officers worked Franklin Street Sunday night in an attempt to curb the crime that has come to characterize After Chill. After Chill's tainted image of crime and chaos is one of the main reasons some UNC students have come to loathe Apple Chill.
It's kind of bizarre and really unfortunate that, as soon as it turns dark, all these people from out of town come in and we feel threatened, as a house full of girls right on Franklin Street. We really all were really frightened.
According to Chapel Hill Police spokesperson Jane Cousins, there was only one arrest in the Franklin Street area Sunday night. Cousins told Carolina Week reporters that the rumors we were hearing fortunately did not become a reality. We saw people dressed as gang members, but no violence. Still, UNC students don't feel safe taking part in After Chill.
I did walk down Franklin Street and I felt really afraid because people were kind of hassling me and saying really crude things to me. And so that was a real thing that was happening that really making me scared. So.
Robin says she hopes that next year Apple Chill won't be a part of Chapel Hill's plans. Cousins said they plan to evaluate this year's safety procedures before plans are made for next year.
So Elizabeth, when will these evaluations take place?
Cousins said the evaluations will be going on sometime this week.
Elizabeth Crumpler live in the studio. Thanks, Elizabeth. A lot of Franklin Street restaurants and bars chose to close their doors for Apple Chill.
But some other places were hoping big crowds would mean big business. Things are now back to normal at Buffalo Wild Wings, but on Sunday the place was packed. The general manager of the bar and grill says Apple Chill is one of the best days for sales, and the restaurant was well prepared.
Our concerns are the same that we have on any heavy volume day. It's just handling the sheer volume of people. But we bring on extra security and have a manager at the door and count the number of heads of people in the building. So we just try to put as many precautions in the place as we can to make sure that we have control of our building.
Hayek says business was good on Sunday and there was a constant line of people waiting to get in the door.
The crowd on Franklin Street was even bigger. Some 50,000 people flocked to the street to take part in the festivities. Festival goers wanting to chill out from the afternoon's warm weather lined up for frozen treats like ice cream and lemonade. Adults browsed various vendors selling arts, crafts, and jewelry, while children got their faces painted and tested their climbing skills on the rock wall.
I like the rock climbing place. Yeah, rides and stuff.
The festival also featured dance and musical performances by Chapel Hill locals.
One positive booth at Apple Chill gave people a chance to find out if they're negative. For the first time in Apple Chill history, the UNC Center for AIDS Research conducted free HIV testing. Within 20 minutes, those being tested could find out if they're HIV positive or negative for HIV. Along with the free testing, the center gave out condoms and information about AIDS research. Nicole Harrison was one of the organizers of the booth and a recent UNC graduate. She says the booth was a great success.
People have signed up and want to take the test, and they're eager to see their testing results, and everything's been kept very confidential. Everything's been made to run pretty smoothly.
If you didn't take the free test Sunday, you can check with your local public health department, which gives free tests year-round.
A reminder from local Chapel Hill police, don't get in a car with strangers. 2 women have been assaulted in the past 5 weeks. Police believe the same man attacked the women and exposed himself to a third after they accepted rides from him. They describe him as a middle-aged black male with a mustache, about 6 feet tall with a medium build. Police have these tips for getting home safely. Don't walk alone. Stay alert. Call police if you spot something suspicious. Take public transportation such as the P2P bus or Safe Ride, and never, ever get into a stranger's car. The most recent attack occurred last Wednesday near Europa Drive and Legion Road in Chapel Hill.
So scary. Well, many of our classmates are from different states and pay out-of-state tuition.
So the plan that would make out-of-state students pay more in tuition costs than those from other countries has some folks upset. We'll explain.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
What's wrong, Mrs. Jenkins? Come on, you can tell me.
Well, there's no funding for the new reading program, and I've tried everything and nothing works. It's not fair. Nobody ever gives me funding.
When adults run out of ideas, they can feel as frustrated as kids. ConnectForKids.org has thousands of resources for helping kids in your community.
Mrs. Jenkins, holding your breath is not going to get you any more funding.
ConnectForKids.org, guidance for grown-ups.
In November, the University of North Carolina system agreed to accept applications from undocumented students who would be considered out of state for tuition purposes. Now, there's a bill in the state legislature that would allow children of illegal immigrants to pay in-state tuition. Reporter Lauren Cox has more about the controversy this idea has caused.
Children of undocumented immigrants face many difficulties when it comes to their education. For one, they must pay nearly $16,000 a year and aren't eligible for student aid. House Bill 1183 would allow undocumented students to pay in-state tuition if its school received a high school diploma for legal status in the U.S. and academic qualifications. Hispanic immigrants are the largest immigrant group in North Carolina, making up nearly 6% of the population. There are even more who live here illegally. Advisor of the Carolina Hispanic Association, Juan Gonzalez Especia, says this bill would benefit those who fall victim to a poor economic future.
I think it's not just a gain for these people and their families. I think it's a gain for everybody, for the economy, for the culture, for the society.
But critics, such as NC Listen director Ron Woodard, say the bill would reward illegal behavior.
They're following the rules. They are waiting in line, waiting their turn. What do we say to those would-be immigrants if we start handing out privileges to people who broke the law?
The bill is currently pending in the state legislature. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lauren Cox, Carolina Week.
Right now, the universities in the UNC system are the only higher-level institutions in North Carolina that accept illegal immigrants. In August, all community colleges in the state will start accepting them as well.
It's been 3 weeks since Carolina Dining Services employee Vel Dowdy was suspended on embezzlement charges. The controversy surrounding Dowdy and Aramark, the contractor that handles dining services at Lenoir, hasn't died down on campus. Now the debate's made its way to the web. A petition addressed to Aramark is circulating online. The petition asks the company to drop all charges and reinstate Dowdy. As of Monday afternoon, almost 500 people had signed it. You can log on and check it out. We've linked the petition's website to ours, www.carolinaweek.org. Dowdy's court date is set for May 5th in the Orange County Criminal District Court in Hillsborough.
8 UNC students are still settling into their new homes after a fire at Ehring House dorm destroyed their entire suite Friday morning. Police tape and debris are all that remains outside room 229 where the fire ignited. Officials still aren't sure what started the fire, but they're leaning toward the possibility of faulty electrical wiring. No one was injured in the fire, but nearby students say the flames were intense and the whole ordeal was a frightening experience.
The firefighters went in and chopped out the window with their axe and were spraying the room. The water was coming out the window, and they eventually put it out in probably 5 to 10 minutes.
There were 2 fires in this same room earlier this year, and investigators are now looking for any links among the 3.
Those Ehring House students aren't the only ones in need of a new place to live. The high demand for on-campus housing for next year has some students left in a bind. This year, students struggled to secure rooms in one of UNC's residence halls. Close to 200 more students recontracted this year than last. Many opt to live on campus because it's convenient, and the incentive to do so increased because of recent additions to South Campus, such as the new dorms in Rams Head. Housing officials say the renovation of Morrison Dorm also contributed to the housing shortage. The university reserves about 1/3 of on-campus spaces for incoming freshmen. Now that's about 2,500 spots, more than half of which are on South Campus. Well, the Senior Ball is coming up this weekend, and the Senior Ball is just one of many events spotlighting seniors this week. Monday night, about 60 seniors and faculty members will receive awards for their excellent service to the university. Tuesday night, you can head out to Haynes Hall for some free food and a chance to find out about the opportunities ahead as a Carolina alumnus. And Wednesday, don't miss your chance to climb the bell tower. You can do that from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. with free barbecue starting at 4. Also, don't forget to get your severe weather tickets for this year's graduation ceremony. You can pick these up at the Dean Smith Center all week. For more information about this year's graduation ceremony, visit our website at www.carolinaweek.org. Now, as I was saying earlier, the Senior Ball is this weekend, and hopefully the weather will be nice outside. Weathercaster Erin Moore joins us now.
What can we expect this weekend?
Unfortunately, it's not going to be so nice as it is right now, and I'm not the only one enjoying the weather right now. Some students are bubbling over with excitement, but will it continue into the weekend? I'll have all that and more when Carolina Week returns.
I try as best I can to stop underage drinking, but I can't do it alone. We bring these kids in and all they get is a slap on the wrist and then they're at it again. We need help from everyone, including parents and judges. Otherwise, we're all part of the problem. And we become just another tool to help them drink.
Since 1975, the enforcement of minimum drinking age laws has saved over 17,000 lives. Say nothing, do nothing, stop nothing.
Once you see the world through math and science, you'll never see anything the same way again. Go to girlsgotech.org.
You'll see.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Erin Moore here with a check of your weather headlines. After the cold and dreary week we experienced last week, we are definitely seeing a dramatic warm-up for the last couple of days. That's going to continue for the rest of the work week. We will see a mix of clouds and sun prevailing, but precipitation should not be a factor, that is, until Thursday when a front moves through the area, giving us the slightest chance that we may see a stray thunderstorm in the viewing area. But our best chance for rain will hold off until Friday and into Saturday. So if we look at the satellite map, we can see currently we've got clear skies over North Carolina and most of the eastern seaboard. All of this moisture down here is from the high pressure that's dominating our area. It's rotating clockwise, and bringing all that moisture in from the Gulf. But we will not be seeing any moisture until later in the week. If we look at the surface map, we can see what's going to happen here. We've got this high pressure dominating, that's that clockwise winds, and then we have this cold front up here in the northern states, and that's going to be drifting down into our area and giving us some cooler temperatures at the end of the work week with the slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms. If we look at the 4-day forecast, we can see that On Tuesday, we're going to keep seeing these 80-degree temperatures with a high of 82 and an overnight low of 58 with mostly sunny skies. On Wednesday, we'll see a high of 81 with a low of 58, again with mostly sunny skies. Now on Thursday, we're going to see some sunny skies during the morning hours, and then as that front progresses through, we'll see a slight chance for thunderstorms returning to the area and an increase in our clouds with a high of 80 degrees with a low of 57. And then on Friday, our temperatures cool down to, believe it or not, this is our normal temperature for this time of year with a high of 73 and a low of 53 and a better chance for some thunderstorms. So if we take a look at this week last year, it was about the same, a little bit warmer. Our average high was 83 degrees and the average low was 59 degrees, and it was a dry week. So hopefully we'll see those thunderstorms that stay away until Thursday or Friday.
Great. Thanks so much, Erin. I know that they say April showers bring May flowers, so if we have to endure a little bit of rain right now so that the start of the summer and the end of the school year is nice and sunny, I think it's a good deal.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Erin, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Wes Wilson joins us now. Wes, the weather outside is beautiful, and I'm sure that has made spring sports, like the attendance there, just amazing.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the attendance at the baseball games this weekend. They had, the best attendance they've had all season long. All the games were on ESPN, with one of the games on ESPN too. So it was just a great weekend for Tar Heel sports if you just want to go out and watch the games. And speaking of that, coming up on Carolina Week Sports, Aniela Mojish. If you think spelling this tennis star's name would be difficult enough, you should try returning one of her serves. We've got the story on Carolina's ace.
Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about ripped off money. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
To a child, a little of your time can make a lifetime of difference. That's why the Greenville Family Partnership sponsored a hike, because kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
Standing right in front of them.
Whether you're a good storyteller or a good listener, you can help. To find out about community drug prevention programs, call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Wes Wilson, and while I do love basketball and football, it's baseball season, and I couldn't be happier. Well, with two of the country's best pitchers taking the mound Friday afternoon at the Bosch, the Canes and Hills series opener looked like it would be a low-scoring affair, but looks can be deceiving. Down 2-0 early, the Hills hit back with a double to dead center by Matt Ellington in the bottom of the first. Justin Webb and Greg Mangum come around to score, and they are pumped, but All-American Andrew Miller could not shut down that Miami lineup as the ball gets launched here for a 3-run homer in the top of the second. And it wouldn't stop there. The Canes tag on 4 more in the top of the third. Miller has the shortest start of his career as Miami pounds the heralded Carolina staff by a final of 17-7. Coach Mike Fox said he was as surprised as anybody at the number of runs scored.
A lot of times you're expecting a lot of offense, you get good pitching, expecting a great pitching duel, you get some offense. I think probably the hitters on both sides probably took a little exception to the fact that everybody was talking about what 2 great pitchers were going out there.
In the second game, the Hills stormed the field looking for a little revenge. First baseman Chad Flack connected for the first Carolina home run of the game. But with their fans behind them, the Canes splashed a home run of their own out to center field. The Hills were able to tie it up, but made costly errors like this overthrow to first base that led to more Hurricane runs. Loyal Tar Heel fans stayed until the very end, but home plate eluded the Hills, and they dropped game 2 by a score of 18-9. Sunday, the Hills looked to save face and not get swept. The Hills offense exploded early with back-to-back bombs by Justin Webb and Matt Ellington as Carolina jumped on top 4-1. Pitcher Adam Kalkoff got into trouble in the fourth, and head coach Mike Fox had to call on the closer. Matt Danford pitched brilliantly, though, lasting 6 in the third, but the Tar Heels couldn't hold their 7-6 lead in the ninth because of an error, and this game goes to extras. I would really like to tell you that there was some great ending and everything, but I can't. That's because this game ended in a tie. Miami had a plane to catch, and Danford says ties, well, they just don't taste very good.
Coming out of a tie, it just kind of leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth because after all the hard work and great plays and players stepping up, you want to come forward with a win.
The Tar Heels softball team also had its hands full this weekend with an ACC opponent, Virginia. The Heels and Cavs got the weekend started with a doubleheader Saturday, and the Heels sent their ace out to the mound for both games, but Crystal Cox kept the Cavalier batters at bay most of the game as the Tar Heels pushed their lead to 4-0 on Jennifer Jacobs' RBI single in the 5th that sends a Carolina runner in to score, which left some fans clamoring for, yes, that's right, a better view. Virginia's lone highlight came on this home run by Jen Wynn off the scoreboard in the 6th. But Cox, she was just too much as Carolina wins the opener 7-1. In the second game, Cox can get any help as the Heels lose game 2, 2-0, and split the doubleheader. Virginia took the rubber match Sunday as well on a squeeze bunt in the 6th to win the series. Carolina falls to 30-23 overall and 5-7 in the ACC. The women's tennis team had a chance to end its regular season strong with a win against Georgia Tech, but it wasn't to be. Georgia Tech took 4 out of 6 singles matches and the doubles point for the 5-2 win. Carolina's #1 seed, Aniela Mojis, fell to Tech's Christy Miller 7-5 and 6-2. Senior Aniela Mojis rarely loses in a singles match, but as sports reporter Tyree Barnett shows us, Mojis is just as gracious after a loss as she is with a win.
The first thing opponents notice about senior star Aniela Mojis is that they can't get under her skin. Whether she's enjoying a comfortable lead or losing during a match, unlike other players, she's the picture of calm.
I mean, it helps me not to get too emotionally high or too emotionally low. Even when I'm winning, you won't see anything coming out of me. It's just an occasional pump up or something, or yes, if it gets tight or if I'm playing an annoying team.
Head coach Brian Calbus says Aniela's level head makes her a great but silent leader. And despite being an All-American, Aniela is still a student of the game.
She's not one that knows everything. She's always willing to learn and get better. And to me, to have someone like that who's your #1 player, is a tribute to your team.
And Aniela is #1 for a reason. For starters, her serve almost guarantees quick points.
Now, my serve is pathetic compared to Aniela's serve, which top speed rounds out at over 100 kilometers per hour. Just imagine being on the other side of the court and staring her down.
Opponents find this 5'10" South African native a tough match. So doubles partner Kendall Klein loves having Aniela on her side of the court.
She's got a huge serve, so that's a lot of fun to kind of get to play off of that. And her returns are very solid. So it's just kind of everything you can possibly ask for in a doubles partner. She's awesome.
But Aniela is too modest to tell you how awesome of a player she is. She'll show you on the court instead. In Chapel Hill, I'm Tyree Barnett, Carolina Week Sports.
Thanks, Tyree. And on a personal note, a belated congratulations to Aniela, who got engaged over winter break. Well, the men's tennis team tackled the Yellow Jackets as well this weekend on Georgia Tech's Senior Day, but the men didn't fare much better than their female counterparts. It took 5 hours for a winner to emerge, but Georgia Tech edged out Carolina 4-3 on Sunday. The Heels finished their regular season with a 4-6 record in the ACC this year. The ACC tournament standings will be announced on Monday, April 18th. The women's lacrosse team went head-to-head against Maryland on Saturday, and unfortunately a strong start lasted only through the first 10 minutes. Carolina's Gina Allen scored early in the game, followed by a goal from Christina Juris, but that was it for the Heels. Maryland went on a 7-0 scoring run, making shot after shot. Kristen Hardy was visibly frustrated with the Heels, who were down 8-2 at the end of the first half. The Terps continued to dominate offensively in the second half, giving a little alone time to their goalie. After some Tar Heel cheer, the Heels were able to crank out a few more goals, but it wasn't enough. Maryland wins 14-7. Well, like many seniors this time of year, senior forward Nikita Bell from the women's basketball team was looking for work, but she didn't have to look very long. Bell, the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year, was taken with the 20th pick in the 2005 WNBA draft by the Detroit Shock. Well, guys, that's really neat for Nikita. Something I had that was neat for me this past week was getting to take the swim test with Jackie Manuel. So we both procrastinated and then had to take the swim test together. So that was kind of neat. It wasn't quite as boring as I thought it might otherwise be.
Well, how'd you do?
I passed, thankfully. I get to graduate, apparently.
More importantly, how did he do, more importantly?
He graduated as well. I mean, after the national championship game and winning that, I guess it was just all downhill from there.
Well, Wes, coming up, we'll tell you more about this. Sink or swim, seniors are diving in.
It's the last lap on the way to graduation. But are these seniors going out with a splash or a flop? Find out when we return.
The Ronald McDonald House is a nonprofit organization that provides a home away from home for families of children being treated at UNC hospitals. Since opening in 1988, the house has welcomed more than 1,000 families each year to stay at this safe haven. The house relies heavily on community support. How can you help? Become a volunteer. Help the house that love built. The Ronald McDonald House, the house with a heart.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the went up the
Get proper nutrition before it's too late.
I forget.
Call or visit WIC. WIC provides nutrition information, healthcare referrals, even food. Your child has you, and you have WIC.
Well, there are lots of requirements to complete before you can graduate from Carolina, i.e. taking a certain number of hours, fulfilling perspectives, and passing the swim test. Reporter Lydia Garlikov put her flip-flops on and hit the pool for the last swim test date of the semester.
And so begins another round of Carolina's swim test, a 5-minute rite of passage on the way to graduation.
It's not a test, it's a celebration. I'm getting ready to graduate, about to get my walking papers, and peace out.
It's that desire to graduate that brings students here. Some are nervous, but junior Michael Burrows couldn't wait to strap on the Speedo and goggles and head to the pool.
I'm pretty excited, yeah. It's a good opportunity to work on our swimming talents.
Swimmers have to stay afloat for 5 minutes and swim at least 1 lap. That's harder than it sounds for some, and strategies vary from the basic.
Pass the test. Get in when it starts, get out when it's over.
To the simple.
Float. Just float.
Others, though, are a little more aggressive.
I'm going to try to take out the competition by a combination of physical abuse and urination.
As the test nears completion,
5, 4, 3.
There are smiles and sighs of relief. All students come together with the same goal, that little card that says, I passed the test.
Feels great.
On the pool deck, I'm Lydia Garlikov, Carolina Week.
And good news to report, all of the seniors and rising seniors affiliated with this show have passed the swim test, and several have done much more than that. We'd like to recognize our scholarship winners for next year, Christy Keck, Ross Widener, Lydia Garlikov, and Bryn Tuggle. And more honors for our graduating seniors in a ceremony late Monday afternoon. The Earl Wynn Award went to Dylan Field. The Paul Green Award recognized the long-term contributions of 2 staff members, Courtney Robinson and Stephanie Busey. And the John Bittner Award for the outstanding graduating senior in the electronic communication sequence went to Joe Mott. Congratulations to all of those who contribute so much to Carolina Week and our radio counterpart, Carolina Connection.
Very exciting.
Well, Courtney, congratulations.
Thanks
That
so
must
much.
have been thrilling.
Yes, it was. I'm just hoping to get a job, so give me a job. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.